Right, well, let's revisit that extraordinary moment we saw a short time ago as Iran's state TV was struck by an Israeli attack live on air, abruptly bringing an end to a live broadcast. This is the moment where it happened.
که شنیدید صدای متجاوز به خاک وطن، صدای متجاوز به صدای حق و حقیقت است. آنچه که ملاحظه کردید، صدایی که شنیدید، فضای غبارآلوده استودیو
This is the sound of aggression against the homeland. That's what the TV presenter said there as those strikes hit. This was the scene outside the television building moments after the Israeli attack. State TV has since resumed live broadcast. Multiple explosions have rocked other parts of Tehran as well. Take a listen. It follows the Israeli military issuing evacuation threats to residents in parts of the capital for the first time since the conflict started on Friday. There are no bomb shelters in Tehran, and there's been heavy traffic as people scramble to leave the capital. Iran now says it's preparing for, quote, the largest and most intense missile attack in history on Israeli soil as a response. Right, well, let's take a look at the geography of this area in Tehran, where Israel issued its evacuation threat. Now, that's District 3 of the Iranian capital. The state television building is just outside this area. Inside this area, there are some European embassies, UN offices, and Revolutionary Guard offices. And in Iran's northwest, authorities say an Israeli strike has hit a hospital in the city of Kermanshah. The facility was damaged and patients were injured. That's according to state media. Iran's foreign ministry is calling it a war crime. Israel has said it has no intention of killing civilians. However, at least 224 people have been killed since Israel started its attacks on Iran on Friday, and that includes 70 women and children. Right, well, reporting from outside the state TV building, a reporter said that many of his colleagues were still inside the building when the strike happened. Let's take a listen.
I'm Yunus Shadlu, a defense editor. Over the years, I've done many reports, and we have exposed the hollow might of the child-killing Zionist regime to the world from here. I don't know how many of my colleagues are still inside right now. We have been given evacuation warnings, but everyone stayed until the very last moment to show the true face of the Zionist regime to the world.
Right, well, joining me back in the studio is our correspondent, Dorsa Jabari. As journalists ourselves, we know how scary that idea of being attacked while you're doing your job. How do you think they would have been feeling and coping with this at the moment?
I think it was a huge shock. Israel did issue forced evacuation threats about an hour or so prior to launching this attack. But I don't believe any of those journalists took it seriously or believed that they would actually attack this state institution. State TV in Iran, this building is part of a large complex in North Tehran. It is near the Istiqlal Hotel, which is one of the oldest hotels. It is near Park Millat, one of the biggest public parks in the city. And I used to live about 2 kilometers from State TV, so I know the area quite well. And this building, this complex, is home to about 3 to 4 buildings that have been there for decades. Iranian state radio that was launched in 1940 launched from this complex. And then in the late 1960s, the government at the time launched the state television. And again, it stayed in this compound. And it's just grown over the years. State TV is a huge entity. It employs anywhere between 30 to 50,000 people. It has TV stations all across the country. There are program channels, and the footage that we saw is from the 24-hour news channel that we saw.
And presumably a lot of people would have been watching state TV during this time because everyone wants to keep across what's going on in their country, because these strikes are indiscriminate. It's across the whole of the country.
Absolutely. Iranians, locals, get their information from state television because international TV channels are banned in Iran. Most people do have satellite dishes to watch other programs, but the main source of information inside the country comes from state television. All the officials in Iran, including the supreme leader's messages or events that he attends, are all first given to state television. So even us as foreign journalists, we are not usually invited to those events for security reasons. So we get our information also from state television. So they're a huge entity, and people rely on them for a plethora of different things, including what is happening inside the country. So this attack, while the presenter, whose name is Sahar Emami, mother of two, was reading the news and stayed in her chair until the very last minute before she could hear the strikes coming, she chose to stay in her seats and then get out at the very last minute. The moment of impact is hugely significant for the public watching.
Presumably she'll be seen as a hero for doing that. And is that likely to rally the Iranians together during this time?
Absolutely. This is going to be seen as a serious escalation because Israel is no longer attacking the entities that is related to its stated aim, which is to weaken the country's nuclear program, as well as to diminish the missile program in Iran. The state television has nothing to do with those entities. It is completely separate, but according to Israeli officials we just heard in the last hour, they want to get rid of the mouthpiece of this regime, they say. And it is going to be seen as a huge violation of international law to carry out this kind of attack. And of course, it's going to only further infuriate the general public in Iran, regardless of what they think of state television and its employees. This attack is not just on state television. It's not just an attack on state media. It is an attack on the Iranian nation.
They've gone for the Achilles heel, it seems here, the connection between the leaders and the public. Thanks very much, Dorsa Jabari there.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.